It would have been incredibly easy for Mazda to ruin the MX-5 by putting a folding hardtop roof on it. Just as well then that instead of rushing this concept to market, the Japanese company did a proper job on this car. It's not just an MX-5 with a different roof. Mazda have managed to imbue the RF derivative with a more mature feel without losing the fun factor. More power for the 2-litre version is the finishing touch. Cars with folding hardtop roofs can be rather grotty things. Curiously malformed with distended bottoms and pinched cabins, they usually lose their looks and their practicality once the roof's up, and all you're left with is toothbrush room in the boot once the roof has done its contortionist trick. Oh yes, these cars offer the customer more weight, more complexity and more expense, that is. Therefore we shuddered when Mazda first announced a retractable fastback RF version of its 4th generation ND series MX-5 in 2016. Seems we needn't have worried after all. It's the exception that proves the rule. Utilising the basis of an existing MX-5, Mazda managed to build a car that will appeal to a subtly different audience. For many metropolitan types, parking on the street is a way of life, but the hard-topped RF variant offers additional security and is vandal-proofed in a manner that no fabric-roofed car can be. It's also a little more refined than the soft-top variant, and it shares that model's mild update back in 2018, which usefully upped the output of the 2-litre engine that most customers want. Under the bonnet, this RF model gets the same 2 power plants available in the standard MX-5. That means it's offered with either a 1.5 litre 132 PS engine, which is what we're trying here, or an uprated 2 litre 184 PS unit. As with the ordinary roadster variant, all manual models powered by that larger 2 litre engine feature a limited slip differential, a front strut brace, sport suspension with Bilstein dampers and 17-inch wheels. This 4th generation MX-5 design conforms to 5 key criteria that Mazda claim define this model line. Rear drive with a front mid-engine layout, 50-50 weight distribution and an eagerness to change direction, plus a low curb weight and an affordable price. Most RF models get 6-speed manual gearboxes, but Mazda is also offering a paddle shift auto option on the 2-litre variant for the few that will want it. Stick with the stick shift is our advice. The wonderfully incisive short shift Skyactiv MT 6-speed manual transmission is a key contributor to the whole MX-5 experience, which is just as well, as you'll be shunting the stubby lever around the box rather a lot to get the most out of those revvy little engines. Let's get to the performance stats, which aren't much affected by the RF body style. The manual 1.5 litre model we're trying here makes 62 miles an hour from rest in 8.7 seconds en route to 126 miles an hour. The manual 2 litre variant improves that showing to 6.8 seconds and 137 miles an hour. For the 2 litre auto, it's 7.9 seconds and 124 miles an hour. As you would expect, the suspension and electric power steering parameters of the MX-5 have been specifically tuned for the retractable fastback version, but not dialed back. The steering in particular delivers a brilliant bond to the bitumen, offering complete confidence in what's going on between rubber and road. Is it as communicative as a more track-orientated roadster like a Lotus Elise or a Caterham 7 would be? No, of course it isn't. But if you've been fortunate enough to try a model of that kind, then you'll be amazed at just how close Mazda has been able to get to that level of tactile response without delivering the kind of car that rides like a go-kart. To be fair, the ride is quite firm over the bumps, particularly on the 2 litre manual variant with that slightly stiffer suspension setup we mentioned earlier, but it's nothing you couldn't live with. We actually prefer the more standard damping arrangement on this lesser 1.5 litre model. Here, particularly, the combined advantages of even weight distribution, high torsional rigidity, a low center of gravity, and rear-wheel drive combine beautifully for an ideal ride and handling balance. This car certainly doesn't need the kind of really over-stiff setup that many hot hatches have to have in order to feel sporty. It's yet another thing that'll make you more eager to push this Mazda along on your favourite country road as you revel in the sheer pleasure of being able to rev to the red line without fear of potential consequences for your licence. This is why we think that writers who moan about the lack of power in this car have completely missed the point of it. What this Mazda lacks in outright speed, it makes up for with outstanding poise and balance, enabling you to exploit more of its modest acceleration more of the time. Keep your momentum going over twisty roads and you can often reel in far more powerful machinery, particularly in the Pokia 2-litre model, in which that standard limited slip differential makes quite a difference coming out of corners at speed and helping you get the power down onto the road. As for that retractable roof, well, there's quite a lot of wind noise to contend with over around 55 miles an hour, certainly more than you get in the alternative soft top model, even with this tiny wind deflector in place. Now, in terms of operating the roof, you've got to slow right down to under 6 miles an hour, and you use this little dash button. Its machinations take just 13 seconds. And when the roof is shut, a sound-absorbing headliner used in the front and middle of roof panels combines with sound insulation around the rear wheel housings to deliver a significantly quieter cabin than you'd get in the soft-top variant. The MX-5 RF's electrically retractable hardtop consists of front, middle and rear roof sections and a rear screen. When the top is lowered, the front and middle portions are stowed together, while the rear glass sits behind the seats, leaving the rear roof section in place to create a unique open-topped look, plus a cabin feeling that combines a sense of open-air freedom with the impression of being securely ensconced within the car. A 5mm increase in roof height aside, the RF retains the same overall length, width and wheelbase as the standard MX-5 convertible, but thanks to gently downward sloping buttresses that tuck in at the sides to create a teardrop shape, the RF's elegant fastback silhouette accentuates the MX-5's dynamic and contemporary sports car proportions in quite a unique way. Otherwise, things are much as they are in any other MX-5. True to sports car tradition, there's a stitched leather-trimmed short-throw gearshift lever with further premium leather on a grippy 3-spoke steering wheel that looks and feels great and now adjusts for reach as well as height. Through it you view 3 satin chromed ring gauges, a large rev counter centrally positioned in pride of place. Just about anything else that you need to know can be found here on the MZD Connect infotainment screen that comes as standard, providing you avoid entry-level trim. Positioned high on the centre of the dashboard in your natural line of sight, the display features touchscreen and voice control, though it's much easier to simply operate the thing with the silver rotary multimedia controller that you'll find just behind the gear stick. Via this, you marshal the usual stereo, media and informational functions, as well as an optional navigational system. Out back, there's a tiny 127-litre boot, but at least the designers have kept the reduction on capacity over the normal fabric top model to just 3 litres. There's a premium of just under £2,000 to order this RF variant over the standard fabric-topped roadster model. Now that means pricing that at the time of this test in autumn 2020 started at just under £26,000 for the entry-level SEL variant fitted with the base 1.5 litre 132 PS engine. There's a large £2,300 premium to pay on top of that if you want the better equipped sport variant we're trying here, which adds niceties like black leather seat trim, rear parking sensors, auto headlamps and wipers, keyless entry, and a premium Bose 9-speaker audio system. Safety-wise, Sport Spec gets you quite a lot more too. Autonomous braking, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, rear smart city brake support, and driver attention alert. In the 2-litre RF lineup, prices start at just over £30,000 for the Sport Tech trim, beyond which you'll need to find £1,500 more to upgrade to flagship GT Sport Tech spec. Now, both these top trim levels can be ordered with the £1,600 option of paddle shift auto transmission, but by that time you'll be paying at least £32,000, which some might feel is a little too much for any MX-5. Options are limited to mica, metallic or pearlescent paint, plus on sport models you can add in Napa leather trim and a safety pack giving you high beam control and blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. In contrast to the metal folding top roadster coupe body style in the previous generation MX-5 range, this RF model's top doesn't add a significant amount of weight to this iconic little car, which means that in this form the MX-5 should cost you pretty much the same amount to run as the equivalent fabric roofed variant. Let's get specific with the WLTP figures. The 2-litre version most will choose will return a combined fuel consumption figure of 40.9 miles to the gallon and a CO2 reading of 155 grams per kilometre, or 37.2 miles to the gallon and 171 grams per kilometre for the 2-litre auto. Now, if you go for this lesser 1.5-litre manual model, those figures improve to 44.8 miles to the gallon and 142 grams per kilometre. Insurance groupings start at 25E for the 1.5-litre model and run up to Group 28E for the top 2-litre auto variant. Onto residual values, always a relative strong point with this car. Independent experts CAP reckon that after the usual 3-year 60,000 mile ownership period, this car will retain between 39 and 42% of its original value. To give you some perspective, a premium open-top sports car like, say, a BMW Z4 would give you between 33 and 34%. Yes, something like an Audi TT Roadster would do better, but its higher purchase price inevitably means that you'll lose more money throughout your time of ownership. CAP forecasts suggest that over the regular 3-year period, the TT will lose over £19,000, well over £6,000 more than the value this MX-5 would shed. Makes you think, doesn't it? The Mazda MX-5 is a tough car to improve upon, but this retractable fastback version just about manages it, effectively offering added capability with, cost aside, almost no downside. With many MX-5 models down the years, the ethos was always less is more. The entry-level car was usually the best bet. But the RF variant has changed that, offering a slightly more mature feel that rewards a bigger engine and more kit. As a result, this retractable hardtop version of the MX-5 has brought the car onto the radar of a new group of buyers. Not everyone gets the MX-5 experience, of course. It certainly won't appeal to those prioritising power or people needing the practicality of a hot hatch or a sports coupe. At the other extreme, a specialist sports car maker could offer you a more intense experience, though one that for the most part would be largely irrelevant for public road use. Now that's where this Mazda excels. You don't need a test track, a racing driver's touch or a lottery winner's wallet with this car, just a back to basics love of driving, the way it ought to be.